Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Princess Fornah Network, where we are transforming lives with the love and the word of God. I'm Princess Fornah, and I am your favorite host. I'm so excited. I look forward to every Saturday morning to connect with you guys. Can you all believe it? We are on season 4. You guys, just like yesterday, we started, and here we are. I am super, super excited. God has been great. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for the love, the support, and all of that. But anyways, before we get started, you guys already know how we do it on the Princess Fornah Network. A quick word of prayer, shall we? Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we are just so grateful for your love, for your preservation, for your grace and your mercies. Thank you for my viewers, my followers all over the world. We are just so grateful. Thank you for our families, our friends. Thank you for keeping us. Thank you for roofs over our heads. Thank you for health. Thank you for your provisions, God. We are just so grateful this morning. And even, oh God, as we get into today's episode, I pray that somebody watching will be encouraged, somebody watching will be blessed, will be transformed, and they will just leave this episode this morning hopeful to take on life to the next level. In the name of Jesus, God, we give you praise. We give you all the glory. Amen. 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 You guys, welcome. Okay, so today's episode is going to be amazing. I am super excited. I've got a special guest that's going to join me this morning. She is awesome. I mean, I've been at the edge of my seat all week, waiting to bring her on to share her with you guys. Today, we are going to be talking to my single folks. We are going to be speaking on just living a life of a single but purposeful life. We're also going to be speaking to all you single parents as well out there. She's got an amazing journey that, we're going to try to touch into a little bit so she can share with you all. It's going to be a great time. So before I bring her on this morning, go ahead and start sharing this broadcast. Do it right now. Start sharing this live. Start tagging your friends. Let them know we are live this morning. Share it with somebody you love. Hey, you can share it with your haters as well. Bring them all on here. They might just be impacted and, transformed one way or another. Okay, so let's get started. So this morning, I've got an amazing sister friend with me.
Hey, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, sis.
Hey, what's going on?
I am so excited to have you on here.
Finally.
You guys, before I go ahead and give my spiel about her, I'm going to just let her introduce herself to you all real quick. And then I'm going to give you guys a little history about us. So over to you.
All right. So my name is Tanisha Goins. I live in South Carolina, I live in Summerville, South Carolina. I'm a Navy veteran. I'm an IT. I actually work for Oracle company right now. So just still doing my IT thing. I'm a single parent. Also been living this single life for a little while, just trying to navigate the ups and downs of that. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today, and let's get into it.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it, sis. Okay, you guys, a little bit about me and Tanisha. We go all the way back to my military days in Japan. That was my first duty station. For all of you that have been following me over the years, I am a Navy veteran as well. So we first linked up at Yokosuka, Japan. We sang in the choir together. We kind of bonded as sisters. Her, myself, and a group of other amazing people that were there at the time serving together with us. And to the glory of God, we stayed connected. She's doing amazing things. By the grace of God, I'm doing amazing things. And I was just like, sis, season 4, you've got to, you've got to come on and talk to my people. So she is here today. So all my single folks, young, old, middle-aged, let us gather together and let us see what today's episode has got for us. Sis, I don't know about you, but living this single life is no joke. It is no joke, especially wanting to live a godly single life, or a single life that is purposeful, a single life that, it's not just you just, just lazing around, or you being on like a hunt,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
being out here on a wild chase, a wild goose chase, but living a single life that is, impactful, that's one with a difference. So with being single, what would you say sometimes are some of the toughest things that we have to deal with as single folks?
I think the toughest things that we deal with is just the stereotype of what single, like you're in misery, you're sad, you have to go, like you would just talk about running around and grabbing. I've been through all them seasons of just like feeling like you have to get out of this season right away. And I think that's probably like the biggest struggle, is feeling like you can't be content, because the ultimate prize is marriage, is what it makes it seem like. And it's not saying that marriage is a bad thing. Marriage is awesome and great, but if you don't find yourself in that season, then can you pour into us? Can we not go to church and it's a sermon about how to get a man and 3 steps and what you got to do? Like, can we not do that? Can we talk about what we should be doing right now as far as progressing in our career, or because maybe God just doesn't have us in that spot right there, right now. So I think that's the
Right,
biggest struggle,
definitely,
is the
definitely.
stereotypes.
Yeah, definitely the stereotypes. Definitely family members and friends always wanting to play matchmaker for us,
Yeah.
And I think I last year I did a single seminar, and I was talking to the friends and the family members and letting them know, like, hey, back up. Okay. I know we're single. I know you guys care. I know you guys just want us to, be happy, but also learn to just respect the fact that maybe some of us are dealing with certain things, healing from certain things, wanting to get certain things into perspective, before we get into, the next relationship or some kind of entanglement.
Okay.
you,
Okay.
okay. So, those are definitely some of the things that, we do struggle with as single folks. So for you, with you being a single parent, right, what has that journey been like for you? Because you've got an amazing, beautiful young lady, but what has that journey of single parenting been like for you?
So for just to kind of intertwine the two, I was dating. So I had Zaria when I was about 21. I think I just turned 21, so I had Zaria at 21, and I did take some time off on the dating scene, but just being so young and just moving the way I thought I should move. I think I had maybe 2 relationships. On that second relationship, Zaria's probably around like 3, and I moved to Japan during that time, and I just really felt like God was saying, it's just me and you this time. You can't bring nobody along. And I think I had been going through this roller coaster of jumping in relationship just because I don't think I knew any better. So when I went to Japan, it was like isolation. Just to be honest, guys ain't really checking for Black girls in Japan. Like, they just not really worried about us in Japan. So I think it just was a time for time for God to be like, okay, Tanisha, I'm gonna get you together and I'm gonna let you heal. But I remember Zaria asking me, like, hey, what happened to such and such? And she was like 3. And I was like, okay, I don't wanna be the mom that's bringing different dudes in. So I said, okay, I'll be single. And I did that. I did like Lord, if it's not of you, then I don't want it. And when I say that God has stuck to that, like, I'm like, really, Lord? Not even one little, pick. But I think I needed that time to reset, to understand what a relationship was, to kind of put my daughter, because I might have did some things that I wasn't proud of. I did become a mother and I wasn't married. I did grow up, going to church and knowing these principles or what have you. So I might have did some things that I'm not proud of, but I had a chance to show her something different. So I took that opportunity in Japan and I just ran with it. And I didn't expect it to be so long of being single, but it just happened that way. but just trying to teach her fill in some of the blanks of what she should be looking for if she decides she wants to start dating. What should she be looking for in a man? What's a healthy relationship? Making sure that she understands the dynamic between me and her dad, because that's a whole, another piece where we had to work through and just become co-parents and make a choice that we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, no matter if we're together or not, so it has its ups and downs, because you just put a lot of time and effort into your child. And sometimes you forget about yourself. I gained weight at one time and then I started losing again, so you just kind of lose yourself in it. And I think at 35, I'm learning how to balance. Like, okay, I can still go out and have some time with my friends. Vice Zari is older now, but I can still go out and have some time with my friends and still be able to pour into my daughter too. So it's just learning how to balance all that.
Balance. Wow, you said quite a couple of things. So one of the things you said was wanting to, as a single parent, wanting to set a better example for her. One of the things you said before I even get into what I was just about to ask you was the fact that, okay, I grew up in the church. I knew certain principles. I knew was what I was supposed to do, what I wasn't supposed to do. But then, something happened. Life happened. I had my daughter. So speaking to a young person out there, that also may have grown up in the church, that also knew this principle, that's watching today and have found themselves in a similar situation like you. Maybe they've gotten themselves pregnant. Maybe they're, out here just going through life and doing things that are contrary to what they're being taught or to the way that they were raised. What would be maybe your piece of advice or your words of encouragement to them if you were to speak to your younger self, then what would you say to that young person right now?
I would tell them to really understand and know who God is. Like, know who He is, because when I got pregnant, I was so ashamed. Like, I wanted to hide, and then even stuff wasn't really good with me and Zaria's dad. So I'm trying to pretend like, and I was stationed in Hawaii at the time, my first duty station. So I'm seeming, nobody done got pregnant. So, everybody's looking at you sideways. So I just felt so ashamed. But like I said, I was going to church, I knew of God, but I didn't understand who He was. Like God wipes your slate clean. I'm not saying that I was going out and still doing things, but He wipes your slate clean. He still loves you. There's no reason to be ashamed. Pick up your mat and walk with it. I would tell them, like, really get to know who God is. He's a redeemer. He's a forgiver. You don't have to be ashamed. You can make better decisions. You don't have to hold on to it. Your past doesn't hold you, because that's what the enemy does. He's going to try to use those things, and he used it against me for so long. Like, I felt like I had to be this perfect parent because I messed up that one time, or I felt like I had to do things a certain way or present Zaria like I used to like be so hard on Zaria, like bringing belts to the schoolhouse, switches at church, because I didn't want her. If she acted out, it was a reflection of me being a single mother, is what my mind told me. So the enemy he had my mind gone about that in the early stage. And I'm so thankful that I was able to understand, okay, I'm going to church, but now I know who God is. Like, I'm not just going just for the check in the box or just to do it. I know who He is, and He did forgive me. Now I need to forgive myself, heal the little girl that's inside, and then move forward with your life, so you can be prosperous. You can enjoy motherhood. You can have a peace. Like, so I think that's what I would tell them. Don't get hung up on that stuff. Like, okay, we all do things that's not, mine just happened to be a daughter, but everybody does things, and God forgives us, and we can move forward. We don't have to hold on to those things. So I definitely would say, get rid of that shame. Like, just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I definitely want to add to that. Just like how Miss Tanisha was just saying, if you're that young person out there or that person out there watching me, you've made a mistake. You've probably gone contrary to your belief. You're a believer. Maybe one thing or another happened, and maybe you ended up pregnant. Just once you've come to the realization of, okay, God, I knew better. I had a slip up. I may have messed up. I'm truly, truly sorry. Forgive me. Help me to move forward. And like she's saying, when you get to that point, God, the Bible says that a broken and a contrite spirit, God will not ignore. So once you've come before Him with a truly repentant heart, you move on. You move on. You forgive yourself, like Miss Tanisha was just saying. You forgive yourself. You raise that child, because another thing that the Bible says is that children are a blessing, from God, a reward, a heritage of heaven. So if you're that individual, you're watching, maybe one thing may have happened, you slipped up, you messed up, you made a mistake or whatever it is, forgive yourself, be that amazing single parent that you can be. It's not going to be, easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park or anything like that, but you keep pressing, you keep pushing, you keep pressing, you keep leaning back onto God, who is our ultimate helper. Yes, as single parents, I know you all deal with a lot of things like, judgments from people looking, at y'all sideways, like Miss Tanisha was saying, like my sister was saying, and all that stuff. But just understand that once God has forgiven you, of course, you from that point forward, you know better, you do better, you grow, like she's saying. You don't go back to repeat the same mistakes you've made, because now you know better. But you just be a better example for that child that you're now raising, for that young human that you've now been awarded the responsibility to take care of. So you move forward, we move forward. Another thing that you said too about being a single parent is that once at the age of 3, once Z started asking you questions about certain individuals that were coming around, you knew that, okay, this was not what I wanted to expose my child to, being a better example for her. So for single parents out there, when would you say it's probably a good time to let maybe your kids meet that person that you're dating or you're talking to? Or I don't know. I haven't walked that shoe yet. But what would you say is advisable when it comes to kids and the new boo or the new bae?
I promise I don't even know how to answer this question, because I haven't dated anybody ever since. Hey,
Okay.
this is crazy. But I do know when you're dating somebody, you can, I mean, this my key thing that I always say is God to tell you who it ain't before He tell you who it is. So like you can have a conversation if you prayed for strength and discernment, like, Lord, I desire to be with somebody. I'm a go out here and start dating people. I'm wise now. God, He got me. I'm not going to be falling into the traps like I used to. And you start dating somebody, you could find out what they're about, what they want, what they desire, what kind of character do they have. Is that somebody that you want to bring around your child? And I think I would start from there. Like you can just tell, like I did online dating, which is crazy. Like it's so ridiculous, child. I'll be like, Lord, you don't have one son left? Like, Lord, like what's going on? So, I did online dating, and one of the guys, like, he was like interested, but then he stopped being, and I'm like, you're not even consistent. Like, I don't have okay, this is not the person for me, and being okay with it. This is not the person for me. Thank you. It was nice meeting you. I'm going to move forward. But I appreciate the time I move forward. And that was that, as a grown woman, that's what I do. Like, oh, thank you. It was nice meeting you. Have a good day. And then bye. And then, next. And then there was another guy that was like, too, like, I don't want any kids. Well, I have a daughter, so it's not, this is not, we're not meant to be, like, we're not meant to go forward. He's like, no, I still want to get, no, sir. So you got to hear what they're saying, take it at face value, and then plus like, okay, Lord and God, like, he already said it. Like, what you want me to do?
Okay, so, honestly, I'm gonna come in real quick. So what you just said right now, I think that doesn't only go for single parents. I feel like that goes for every single person, period. Listen to what the person is saying. Sometimes we do what is called selective listening, right? We hear what we want to hear. Sometimes the person could be telling you, I'm not ready for a serious relationship. I don't want kids. I'm not going to move. I'm not willing to relocate. They could be telling you exactly what it is that they want or don't want. But some of us, we just choose to hear what we want to hear. And then also we have this, as single folks, some of us, we have this mentality of, oh, he will change his mind, or she will change her mind, She will change her mind, once we get into the relationship, once he really gets to know me, once he gets serious. But I think what you just said is really key. Listen to what they're saying, especially for us ladies, right? We do that a lot because guys will say exactly what they mean, but we would like to read between the line. Well, maybe what he was really trying to say is no. For all my single folks out there, my single, parents out there, listen to what they're saying. Like me, my sister Tanisha is saying, make sure you consider your kids too, in the dating process. So do you think you gotta tell the person up front that, you got a kid, as a single parent, or do you give it some time?
I usually am honest up front, like, hey, because at this point in the game, I have a teenager. Like, she go through her ups and downs sometimes. I be wanting to box her. So I want them to know, like, up front, like, hey, just so you know, I have a teenager. And it's not easy, trying to balance, teenager. Plus I have, a crazy work schedule. So I try to let people know up front. I think that probably would be the best. It seems like that's some of like the basic questions, like, hey, what's your name? Whatever, do you have kids? What's your relationship like with your kids? Is, usually how I go about it. So I'm pretty honest up front as far as that goes. Just let them know I do have a child that takes up a lot of my time. I desire to date, but I do have a child that, she gets sick sometime, or she needs to be picked up from school sometime. So I really try to be upfront and honest about it.
Right. So as a single parent, what advice would you probably have, or what words of encouragement would you have with another single parent that may be dealing with a problematic teenager or a problematic child? Because I know once they hit them teenagers, y'all just want to strangle them. So how have you been able to get through those stages with Z, and how would you encourage the other, single mom, single dad that's watching, that feels like, I'm going to lose my mind, this child is going to drive me nuts?
So I had an epiphany a couple of years ago. I think Zari was 7, and she's always been a Zaria is, I'm trying to describe her in the right words. She's always been talkative. Like, she's always been super talkative. If she has a substitute teacher and they are a pushover, Zari gonna have a field day with that person. So she's always been like that. But we were going through some times. I'm like, man, Zari, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. You in trouble at school. What's going on? But I was like, and I was angry. Like, I found myself being super angry, and like, why won't she, I'm teaching her this, why won't she, get it together or whatever. And I was like, I really want to enjoy motherhood. It's only a short stint that we get to groom or raise or, direct these children in the path, and it's only short, and then they're gone. They're gone to college or whatever their adult life looks like. And I said, I was like, Lord, I really want to enjoy motherhood. You'll have to help me. So one of the things I would say is be open to other resources. Like, I think sometimes how we were raised or how we came up is gold, and it's the box, and that's it. Nothing can be added to it. And at first I was like that. I felt like I had to be loud and boisterous, or have that belt, or have that switch. And I found that I didn't feel good after I did those things. After I was angry, acting out, I didn't want our relationship to be like that. So I did read some books. We've done counseling before, just so we can have added tools so we can be able to communicate better, because sometimes it's just a lack of communication in the household. So don't be afraid to seek those outside sources that seem a little taboo, but going to a counselor, going to a mediator, having little dinner dates so you can get to know your child, because they're changing. Like, we're kind of mellowed out, we're not really changing like that, but our child is changing at a fast pace. They're meeting new people, they're listening to new songs, they're dressing a different way, they want to try to do their hair a certain kind of way. So your child is ongoing changes. So I would say go out on little mini dates, or go out so you guys can have a conversation, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to always hang out with their friends. So if you can get those free moments that you can make memories, but you're also like hearing hearing what your child is saying. It goes back to like listening to what your child is saying. I think that helps. So I definitely would say just being open to the different techniques that they have out there. I mean, everybody is a parent expert, and everything's not going to work for your child, but there's some things that you can eat the meat and spit out the bones, and it helps you guys kind of like each other. Like, can we get along? Can we like each other just a little bit? Does it have to be this tumultuous? Because people like, oh Lord, your child is gonna do this, this, and this. And I'm like, don't speak them words over here, man. We trying to stay prayed up.
Amen.
We trying to stay prayed up over here. So, it's I think just taking on some of those things and having somebody that might be able to give you a different perspective. Because like I'm in that mode where I kind of want to hold on. I'm like, you ain't getting dropped off at no mall. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can drop you off from 5 to 7. And that's our jump rope moment. I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna drop you off. Now I'm sitting outside. She don't know that. I'm sitting outside. But it's been so hard to let go. But somebody gave me a perspective like, hey, you raise your daughter, she's responsible, she gets good grades, she hangs out with some decent people. So drop her off, give her a time, drop her off. She has a phone on her. Give her a time, and then you pick her up. As she gets older, maybe the time will change. Maybe she'll be driving to the mall herself. But ease yourself into there instead of like trying to. And that's what I'm trying to do is hold on. And I'm like,
definitely. As a child that was raised by a single parent. That was a conversation that I had to have with my father, where every time I would want to go somewhere with my friends, my dad was always panicking and worried and stuff like that and asking a million questions. Who's going to be there? Who you going with? What are you going to be doing? That one day I had to tell him, I said, Dad, I have never given you a reason to be worried about me. I have, I get good grades. I'm doing well in school. I listen, when you talk. I'm like, so I need you to trust the fact that you've raised me well, and this was a conversation I had with him as a teenager. I'm like, I need you to trust in the discipline that you've given me. And one thing he said to me was, it's not the fact that I don't trust you. It's not the fact that I don't trust the fact that I raised you right. I just don't trust the other ones out there. And so for me, then it didn't make any sense as a kid. I'm like, yo, like cut the umbilical cord already, dude. Like, give me some space, give me some freedom. But the older I'm getting now, I'm getting to understand that as a parent, you guys are just always going to naturally worry about your kids. You're going to just because you love us, because you care. So for that young teenager, that young person watching me, I know you're saying, man, mom is so annoying. Dad is so annoying. Because I was there. I was like, oh my God, my dad is getting on my nerves. But the older I'm getting, I'm realizing that they just want us to be okay. I'm realizing that they just don't want anything to happen to this human that they've sacrificed so much for, that they've had to care for, that they've had to go through hoops and hurdles for, so as a child as a teenager that was raised by a single parent, it's making sense right now. So I know my young people that might be watching this or that would get to watch this, I know it gets frustrating, but you got to understand that our parents, they just want us to be okay. They just want everything, to work out as planned, because like Tanisha is saying, we are a reflection of them. And this world, there's so many different people out here. You never know who you're going to come in contact with. I don't want to say it's a cruel and a wicked world, but sadly there are certain, individuals that just makes the world a little bit miserable for the rest of us, So I think that's where a lot of our parents are coming from when they're all panicky all the time with us, So definitely just like you said, easing up a little bit, understanding, listening to them, hearing the child, seeking for help that may kind of seem taboo in certain cultures, like counseling. That's definitely something that I do advocate for. I know in the Black community, the African community, with Asians as well, we're not big on going to talk to professionals. And that's something that I'm actually majoring in school. I'm majoring in counseling and life coaching. So it is definitely something that I do advocate. And I think it's definitely something that's worth exploring for parents that just kind of seem like they're not not speaking the same language with their kids. But also I'm big on also getting the right kind of counseling though. What I'm majoring in school is pastoral counseling. So if you are a believer and you want somebody that would be able to counsel you and your kid in the faith line, that have the same beliefs as you, definitely explore that, because that's the route that I'm going with becoming a pastoral, counselor. Because sometimes circular individuals, when you get to them, they're pushing other narrative to the kids, they're pushing other, things, other things to the kids during the counseling sessions, and that's not the route that some of us are trying to have our kids head down to. So just when you are seeking for help, just make sure that you're prayerfully, getting the right help that you're looking for out there. So we're just encouraging, my single folks, because I know you recently started the Purposeful singles, living a life that's purposeful. I know you haven't really been on it for too long, but so far, what would you say being a single that's living a purposeful life is like? Or what would that be your definition? Living a purposeful single life.
So I think at the beginning of my single, so I basically, it's just funny saying this. I've been single for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in like August-ish, September, for 10 years.
Okay, sis.
That's single.
We're going to need to get back in the dating game.
Girl, I am so rusty. I ain't even going to lie. I'm so rusty. I'm like, oh, y'all not approaching girls no more? I got to approach y'all? Like, how do I do? Like, I need a whole coach out here. I need a whole coach out here. But 10 years. I've been single for about 10 years. It'll be like 10 and like, I think it's like August this September-ish. 10 years. And I thought that I was just like, okay, this didn't work out. God done took me to a new place. It's going, I always got picks. Like this ain't nothing new. I'm gonna be back out there. And it didn't happen like that. I'm like, so I think I spent a lot of time like, okay, I can't buy no house because God gonna bless me with my husband. That's what the church was saying. They was like, oh, they prophesying and, told me I need to write the list, put it in the Bible, turn around 3 times. God about to come through, whatever the case was. And, so the first 2 years, I'm like, okay, I don't need to, like, I don't want to do anything because because they said that my husband coming. Like, so I better wait on him to do something. And I found myself 5 years in, like, dang, like, he ain't coming yet. And I think I had to go through like a bitter, like a kind of like, dang, like what's like that girl got married and she like, what about me? I started being like that. And so God cleaned me out of all that stuff because you focused on the wrong thing, basically. So I think I found myself waiting to do things. But once I got on gear, like I finished my degree, like I got 3 degrees, still raising my daughter. We were traveling. I bought a house, and that's one thing that like I was like, I don't want to buy no house because if he got a house, what we gonna do? Like we can't rent out a house. But I just wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, I don't want to do that. I want to, So I just found myself in this stagnant season, just waiting on this, quote unquote promise, where that's not what God is calling us to do. Like your life is a testimony and you want to be, you're wasting time basically where you could have been ministering to somebody. How many single people did I pass up in that 5 years where I was trying to, exit stage left out of single? How many single people that I passed up that we could have been pairing together, ministering? We could have been exploring what singleness looks like, changing the narrative of singleness. Because like we said in the beginning, the definition and just the idea of being single is not desirable. Everybody's looking for that, that relationship goal, so to speak. So we could have been coming together, changing the narrative. There's ministry in singleness. Like it's not just a season, it's also ministry. So that's what the being purposefully single is like. Okay, I want to live my life the way God intended right now. Like if he's going to bless me, that's going to come. I'm not going to worry about it. But right now, I want to show people that you can buy properties out here. You can have nice car if you want to. You don't have to wait. You can go after the job that you desire. You can live your life according to, God is going to bless you tremendously. You can live it right now. You do not have to wait. So for me, that's what it means. It's like living right now. Like you're going to wait. You don't know when it's going to come. I'm believing. I have faith. I got all that stuff taken care of. I don't even have to, like I really don't have to pray about it no more. God, like I got you. Don't even worry about it. But until we cross that, intersection of like, okay, here it is. I gotta be moving. I gotta be. So I just want to encourage other single people. I want to show them like, hey, I'm going through this with you right now. Because sometimes there's a lot of different ministries and they've already passed it. And I'm like, okay, we're here right now. So let's walk this thing out together. And I just really want to show people like you don't have to, you don't have to wait. You're not on hold. You're not on a shelf, waiting. You're live. You're you're living. You can do different things. So that for me is like what it's about right now. Like this ministry is what it's about. It's about just owning your singleness, taking agency of this, this season and doing everything that you desire and want to do. Because to be honest, when you get married, you might not be able to.
Sis, you are preaching. You are preaching, because if I'm to be very transparent with you and with my viewers, honestly, that was something that I also was battling with, where people were telling me, oh, if you're too ambitious, if you're too successful, if you're thriving too hard, it's going to drive the guys away, it's going to intimidate the men. So I'm just like, so what do you all expect us to do as single women? Just not live? Just be waiting? Just put our lives on pause? I'm like, absolutely not. And just like yourself also, I also had that in my mind, like, okay, what should I not get my degrees? Should I not start a business? Should I stop my ministry? Because I desire to get married. But one of the godly counsels that I got was that all your success is, or all, you're thriving and the things that you're doing, you buying the house, you driving a nice car like you were just talking about, and all that stuff, all it's doing is it's serving as a filtering the ones that don't belong. If a guy is going to feel intimidated because you're successful as a woman, because you're rising as a woman, because you're thriving, as a woman, then that guy don't belong in your life, and vice versa for the guys as well. If a woman, what I'm saying, is only after you because I don't know, don't want you because of what you got or whatever it is. I don't know how to flip it for the guys, but because I know we deal with it a lot as women. But but yeah, there was like the counsel that I got was, then that's just a filter. That individual don't belong in your life, because you shouldn't have to demean yourself, lower yourself for a man to feel like a man.
Yeah.
If anything, a man should be like, wow, that's my girl. That's my wife. She got my name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she got my name. Like, whose wife is that? That's my wife doing her thing. So that was really a counsel that really encouraged me, because I'm naturally an ambitious person. I'm naturally a go-getter, so it just didn't make sense, to me, when I would get advice like, oh, guys don't like women, and I'm like, you know what? It's a filter. So for single folks watching, don't put your life on a standstill. Don't say, I'm not gonna go to school. I'm not gonna get this degree. I'm not going to start this business, this ministry, because I don't want to drive, the men away. I don't want to intimidate the guys or anything like that. No, live your life. And even as men too, be purposeful. You're saying no woman is saying yes to my proposals. No girl is wanting to give me the digits or whatever. And you're just every day you're lurking, you're sliding into DMs. Stop sliding into DMs. Stop lurking. Live a purposeful life. And I promise you, you would attract the right women. And sometimes the mistakes that we make also as single folks, whether single or single parent, is that we go after the wrong ones. One thing that I want us as single folks to stop paying attention to is the patterns. Right? The one that you were with before was a certain way, and then, Joseph is a certain way. And then, John was a certain way. And then Andrew was a certain way. Sweetheart, let's pause and let's evaluate. Because
Yes.
if you keep attracting the same guys, then the problem is not the guys. And you too, as men, if you keep attracting what you call those crazy women, the women are not the problem. What are you going after? What are you searching for? Let's start with that. You know, so sometimes we are searching for the wrong thing. So as single folks, this is not the time where we're just on a vicious hunt. But like you said, we're living life, but also we're getting to know ourselves, because when you get to know yourself, then you will know what it is that you're truly looking for. A lot of single people don't know what it is that they want, don't know what it is that they're looking for. They may have an idea of what they may think they want, or something that they may have seen on social media, like you were talking about relationship goals. But what is it that you truly want? And sometimes the only way that we're going to know what we want in a spouse and a partner is when we get to know ourselves. And that's sometimes what that single season is for, right? That single season is you get to know yourself. You're living your life. You're building yourself. The way I look at it is like you're adding, as African, we have what is called a bride price, you know, where when you're getting married, they've got to bring, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, yeah, the more you improve on yourself, the higher your bride price is going to be. So you're adding to your worth, you're adding to your value, you're adding to yourself in that season. So that's definitely is key as well. So with living a purposeful single life, right? What would you say? What would you say when you meet somebody that, let's say you're a believer, you meet somebody that's not a believer, and that person tells you, okay, I don't believe in God, and I know you do, and I'm not willing to convert. So what would you what advice would you give to that individual? Because I'm asking this question because it's a question that I got from one of my followers, that they were asking me, okay, there's this guy, I'm really feeling him. I really like him, but he doesn't believe in God, but he's supportive of everything that I do. You know, she's a young minister as well. He supports my ministry, he supports my vision, he's there, you know, when I need the help, but he won't go to church with me. He doesn't believe in God, but when we're together, you know, we're good, except we're just not aligned. What advice would you give to a single person like that, where they're not aligned as far as vision and stuff like that go?
Man, I would say you have to go back to your foundation. Like, God, who is this person, and why have our paths crossed? Because, you know, it might not be for you guys, for you right now. Maybe it's down the road. You know, maybe he was church hurt, and that's the reason why he don't. You know, there might be several reasons on why, but if you know that this person gonna cause you to fall, is your relationship with God going to start slipping up? You know, it might be that you guys just need to be, you know, you're just a friend, you're just serving as a friend, not romantic, you're not crossing any lines, you know, you have your boundaries set up, you know, but you really got to go back to God and ask, like, okay, who is this person, God? Is this some kind of, you know, is this a game? Like, did the enemy send this person to try to deter me? Because he know I want to get married also, you know, and I've been praying for this particular person. He meet everything except for that. You know, so you got to make sure that you're not going to compromise based on, you know, your desire to hurry up and want to get out of the season and be married. So I would definitely say, you know, pray. If you got to fast, you know, fast, but pray on it and see, like, okay, who is this person? Because maybe I'm supposed to be helping them in another capacity, because you don't want to get what a friendship and a relationship confused. It was supposed to be a friendship. We done turned and jumped the fence, and now we're in a relationship. Then you get hurt, and then you in this cycle of, you know, getting hurt, and now you done fell off because you're trying to heal from this that you wasn't even supposed to be in. It's supposed to be a friend. That's it. So I would say definitely do that first. You can't change anybody, so you can be like, oh, I'm gonna be with this person, I'm gonna change. Yeah, God got to change him. You know, God, that's God's job. It's not our job. So you definitely don't want to go into it like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and be with this person because he lined up with everything, and I'm gonna change him, because I think you're gonna get frustrated because he's not doing, but he's showing you, you know, where he's at right now. So definitely seek God and develop those boundaries, so you're not having these false hopes of what you think he should look like or what he should be doing, because he just might be in a different place and you were supposed to be some type of an example for him. So that's what I would do. You know, I don't wanna,
Definitely.
you know.
Sorry, definitely. But I definitely agree with you on that. Bible says, "Can two walk together unless they agree?" So if right from jump start, you guys are already, on two separate paths, maybe that's not the decision or the path that you should take. But one thing that Tanisha said that's really, really key is the fact that not everybody that comes into your life is meant to be a romantic relationship. So don't be in a rush to date everybody that comes into your life. Some people come into your life to be destiny helpers. Some people come into your life to be business partners. Some people come into your life to be friends that are going to probably aid you through certain things in a certain season that you might, be getting ready to go through in life. So let's be mindful when we get to meet people. We never know why God is bringing them into our lives, what it is that God is trying to use them to do in our lives and with us. Definitely. On the next episode of the Made for More show. Okay, I have to ask you this question. Now you see a lot of women getting on one knee and proposing to guys. What's your input on that? What's your take on that, ladies? Here's one thing we got to understand about men. A lot of them would know, a lot of them, maybe not all of them, a lot of them would know this is the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. A lot of them would know I'm not ready to be serious later yet. I still want to play games. I still want to be out here, doing but